What do you call a leader without followers, man? Who do you pray to when your God is banished from his own kingdom? What happens to the snake after it swallows itself, tail and all? Questions. But the biggest question of them all, when a man loses everything, what does he have left?
Have you ever caught a fly in your mouth? I have. I did it while I was cycling. It's f***ing horrible. Hello, I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown. We're talking about Bray Wyatt. So here's the plan. 3 episodes of How Adam Would Book, each one looking at a phase of Bray Wyatt's career, because in terms of wrestling myth and lore, in terms of crafting one unbroken narrative for one single character, Bray Wyatt is the most interesting wrestling gimmick potentially of all time, behind The Undertaker and Kane. And also, every single stage of his wrestling life has been marred by this pervasive sense of disappointment, like the later years of Undertaker and Kane. Bray presents a shiny new toy to WWE creative, and they take it, they try to eat it, get sad when they can't, and they just smash it against the ground till it's dead. The Fiend, I've already covered in this video. Look, here it is. Watch it and send me presents. The White Rabbit phase, we'll cover that next month once we've had a little chance to see where that story might be going. Is the Wyatt Six a stable? Is it like a split situation with all the characters in Bray's head? Whatever it is, I'll have a go at that next month. We've done The Fiend, and before all of that, I want to go back to the beginning. Back to the trees. See, the thing you've all forgotten is it's not about the flower. It ain't about the fruit on the branch. No. It's always been about the roots, man. It's all about what's growing under the dirt. Bray Wyatt started life in FCW when Husky Harris got lost in the woods and something deep in the trees picked him as a new vessel. Out of those trees walked Bray Wyatt, a cross between Waylon Mercy, Max Cady, and Charles Manson, cutting cryptic promos in the woods surrounded by backwards followers and the occasional woman draped on a tree branch. What's her story? His first acolyte was Eli Cottonwood, who had possibly the best Wyatt family name, but also couldn't cut a promo if his life depended on it. So when Bray finally made his in-ring debut in what was then known as NXT, his first son was the late, great Luke Harper, aka Mr. Brody Lee, with Eric Rowan following on shortly as his second. Bray called himself the Angel of the Dirt, a figure that the people didn't understand, but they would. In his world, where he'd kiss his opponents before hitting them with Sister Abigail, punishment and love, healing and hurting went hand in hand. He will save you, but only if you let him in. The family debuted on Raw in July 2013 with people chanting Husky Harris at Bray because people only want change until they get it. They targeted Kane, and Bray had a Ring of Fire match, which was honestly a bit but from there, things got better and fast. They entered into feuds with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, 2 of the top stars in the company in 2013, with the Bryan feud paying off in an awesome match at Royal Rumble. That used to be one of my favorite matches. It used to be. The Wyatts had a 1-month feud with The Shield, which was an all NXT victory lap, not only in producing all of these characters, but also having a feud built less on heel-face dynamic and more on, hey, wouldn't it be cool if these 2 cool teams fought each other? And they did, and it was really cool. Then came the feud with Cena, and I mean, what more could be said about this feud that even WWE haven't said themselves? It was a wrong loss at the wrong time, and whether or not it was intentional, it began the slow decline of Bray Wyatt from a fearsome competitor tipped for great things to an unfocused Halloween nutcase who'd show up, repeat a series of weightless riddles at his opponent, then either lose or win via bargain basement Fright Night David Pumpkins bullshit. It was a mess. He ping-ponged from feud to feud, being buffed and nerfed in power depending on who they wanted him to lose to that week. And honestly, it's not all about wins and losses. It's not as simple as Bray lost, therefore bad booking, but he's a cult leader. He is a gimmick with an explicit purpose to spread a message. And hey, there are tons of cults out there with inconsistent and hack platitude-based ideology. Let's just call them Tories. And unlike a lot of other WWE characters, that gives Bray Wyatt a very black and white definition of success. If he increases his following, he is a good cult leader. If he doesn't, he is a bad cult leader. And over the course of 6 years, Bray only properly added one person to his family without it being some sort of insider take them down from within plot, and that's Braun Strowman, back in the days when he was a lumbering man cow and not the person who wasn't finished with Roman. Wins and losses aside, there's only so much people can invest in a character that talks a big game but is relentlessly, demonstrably bad at his job. See also the Tories. From 2015 to 2017, it was a really dark time to be a Bray Wyatt fan. WWE couldn't keep its story straight on what it wanted Bray to actually be. His power was in his family until they randomly disbanded at the end of 2014 for no reason. Do you remember that? Before being reunited equally randomly. Was he magic? He seemed to have the power to make rocking chairs appear out of thin air. He seemed to have the power to make himself appear out of thin air. Yet other times, he was a false messiah whose only power was in his words until he threw a doily on his head to become a Sister Abigail alter ego that was quickly cancelled amidst mumps and mockery. Was his power all smoke and mirrors and maggots on ring canvas, or was it real? Like, I don't know, with this haunted tractor. What the fuck's that? Bray became such a mishmash of random, disparate horror tropes without a single unifying aim or voice. They became just tiresome. A floundering preacher, brain-addled and lost, repeating lines from a script that had long lost its meaning. Then came The Fiend. We've covered that in this video, but for this channel, for PFK, I've never actually done a deep dive on what I personally wanted from Bray Wyatt on his first go-around. Well then, let me have a go.
Who am I? What do I believe in? What can I do with a wave of my hand? You don't know. None of you know. But you will.
All right, I'm gonna hate doing this. Literally, this is me saying that I know better than one of the most creative individual minds in wrestling. I'm just gonna say, I'm saying this, and this is all I'm saying. I'm being explicit here, so you don't accuse me. Look, I'm just saying, I think I have a better idea of how to handle the character than WWE Creative did. Whoever's idea it was to throw a Nan's curtain over Bray's head, I am better than them. And only them. Couple of changes on the ground floor. First of all, cut the spooky bollocks, by which I mean Bray Wyatt does not have magical powers, including teleportation. You know the whole that is a good sting and creates a nice, like, palpable shock, but spooky dolls, haunted chairs, and creepy kids with admittedly impressive baritones are not what makes Bray Wyatt scary. There's one scary shot in all of the Bray Wyatt B-roll. It's not even doing the crab walk on the ceiling. It's this one here. The shot of Bray, arms outstretched, with a horde of faceless people raising their hands to him. Blind loyalty in an unfamiliar environment. A family of intent, blood, cause, and some form of love. That image scares me more than any number of times Bray does the Exorcist thing or pushes a dirty fridge on someone. Bray's power is his following, his family, the fact that there are enough of them and they're in the f***ing trees. The fact that with enough intimidation, enough promises, enough hurt and healing, anyone can be brought under his spell. He's like a social virus, someone who amplifies the worst, most selfish aspects of everyone around him, who uses those instincts, stokes them with lies, all to install himself in a seat of power. talking Tories again. To also further and better tell that story, I'm going to start Bray Wyatt off with one more member of his family from the jump. From the first instant he sets foot on Raw in July 2013, his followers include Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Cassius Ohno, renamed as Noah Cassidy, as I think that has a bit more backwards biblical to it. Another great wrestler, another great beard, circa 2013, another body to accomplish two things: make Bray seem like even more powerful a leader, and to make it so that Bray Wyatt doesn't actually have to wrestle. Bray's a good wrestler, to be clear, especially when acting as a brutal power base to a smaller opponent, but him stepping in the ring could and should only be the nuclear option. After all, what are followers for than carrying out the wills of the prophet? So no spooky no vague either. Bray is intensely clear in his messaging from the get-go. If you join the family, you will receive everything you ever wanted: glory, love, a home. But the golden rule: the family will give you everything, but everything you receive is for the family. It all stays within the circle. All of this is very much in a wrestling context. Another issue with Bray Wyatt is that one that plagues a lot of really heightened gimmicks. What do you want? Why have you chosen wrestling to achieve those ends? And how does wrestling actually help you? Why have you chosen the small pants baby oil brigade to ply your trade as an undertaker, a repo man, or a cult leader? I've got answers to that. WWE have a global television program, something that has the potential to be in millions of homes every single week. Bray wants that. Bray controls WWE. Bray puts out his message. Bray has unfiltered access to millions of homes to preach his particular gospel, because Bray knows exactly how tribal wrestling fans can be, how prone they are to hero worship, and how easily that hero worship can be monetized and turned into anger. T-shirts, sheep's masks, and rage. Bray is a golden god. On a micro level, how does he use wrestling to achieve his ends? By using lies to make a following, by using the following to capture gold, by offering the gold to other wrestlers, giving them offers they can't refuse, using the fact that his followers are all intimidating fighters as a force to police and dominate itself, and so he grows and grows. On a very easy to understand visceral level, wrestling is a system that can be gamed by sheer numbers. There is only one referee who can only be in one place at one time, unless it's no disqualification, in which case the numbers game is even more blatant. Wyatt walks into WWE with a simple numbers advantage and squeezes it for all it's worth, all while not actually wrestling himself. So let's begin. The family debut in July 2013 and attacked not Kane, but Cesaro. In this timeline, I'm afraid to say that Big Tony never joins the real Americans. My apologies to you, the people. All four members of the family debut surround him, brutalize him. Bray kneels over Cesaro, saying, "We're here to help you. Walk with me through the tree." And then he walks away. "I come from the woods, man. Deep in the trees. Easy to get lost in the woods. Get turned around. I was taught by the woods to know a path you have to walk it. The only way. And I got two paths for you, man. I got the path of hood, and I got the path of heel. And before you choose, I gotta walk you down both. Don't worry, you'll be safe soon. You'll be safe." At Money in the Bank, a battle royal is held to determine a challenger to Curtis Axel's IC title later in the show. Harper, Rowan, and Cassidy insert themselves into the match with Bray at ringside and use their unified front to eliminate the competition. At the end, all three followers are in the ring, and following Bray's instruction, Rowan, Cassidy, they both jump over the top rope to the floor, leaving Harper in the ring. Bray's authority, fanatical loyalty, and numbers game established in one fell swoop. Later in the show, with that same numbers game, Luke Harper wins the IC title from Curtis Axel. Between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, Wyatt and co keep attacking Cesaro, constantly beating him down, offering him a match for the title at SummerSlam. Harper versus Cesaro, because yes, I also remember Chikara. The two men beat the front door off each other. Numbers game keeps coming into play. One family causes distraction, the other slides in the ring to knock Cesaro down until the end, when Bray stands from his rocking chair at ringside and says, "That's enough. Show him what it means to be a family." Harper lies down. Cesaro stands there looking confused, covers Harper. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro wins the Intercontinental Championship, and the family stand there on the ramp as he celebrates, waits for him to walk up the ramp to the back, parts ways to let him through. In coming weeks, the family keep helping Cesaro retain his title, and anytime he pushes back, they physically destroy him. It's dark stuff, but it's Cult 101. Obedience is met with overwhelming love. Disobedience is met with overwhelming punishment, hurt, healing. And slowly but surely, Cesaro grows out his beard and his hair, if he can, accepts the boiler suit and the sheep mask, joins the family. Same thing happens with Sheamus. They use numbers games to put the belt on Noah Cassidy. They hand the belt off to Sheamus in a match, but accepting the belt this way is basically making a deal with the devil. He will hand you the glory, and he will make sure you keep it, but then you belong to the family, and you could never leave the family. But really, why would you want to leave the family? Sheamus becomes a member of the Wyatt family, so does Wade Barrett. Cesaro is ordered to lay down for Barrett, punished until he does so. More and more sheep masks appear in the crowd. Cesaro and Cassidy, the team formerly known as the Kings of Wrestling, challenge the Shield for the tag titles and come up short, the beginning of a rivalry with the Shield. When they fail, Bray orders the whole family in the ring and gets them to beat up their brothers. Your brothers are here for you. They're here to hurt you because they're the only ones who can heal you. You have no one else who loves you like we do. Hit him again, boys. At the Royal Rumble, Wyatt sits at ringside throughout the entire Rumble match. He still hasn't wrestled. The family dominate the middle portion of the Rumble as Bray preaches from his rocking chair at ringside, promises the win to his first son, Luke Harper, but his plans are ruined by John Cena, who arrives, tosses out a few members of the family, with the Shield teaming up to take care of the rest. Cena locks eyes with Wyatt at ringside. Wyatt just smiles at him.
When you're raised in the forest, you're taught some things. How to spot a wolf in the trees. You're the big bad wolf, John. But I am the tree, and I will swallow you whole. I will expose you as a false prophet. And I'll cure you, man. I'll show you a better way.
So begins a year-long campaign to indoctrinate John Cena. 2014 will be the year of the family in WWE. Harper, Rowan, Cassidy, Barrett, Sheamus, Cesaro, Curtis Axel joins the fold. Same with the Usos. The family grows, but Bray develops a fixation. He wants Cena. With Cena comes everything, all of what this has been for, control of WWE, and with it, the gospel. At WrestleMania, the match is set. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, Bray's first official match since the family debuted almost a year earlier. Bray Wyatt beats John Cena, kneels over him. You're not ready yet, John. I don't have what you want yet, what you need. But I will. Also on the card, the feud with the Shield is still burning bright as the former Kings of Wrestling and Harper take on the Shield in a 6-man tag match that I just think sounds nice. The Shield win. The family continue their feud with the Shield, with Bray constantly trying to stoke divisions within the Shield, recognizing them as the greatest threat the family has ever faced, the greatest united front. Instead of trying to fight them from without, he tries to tear them apart from within, basically taking over the role that the Authority had in the breakup of the Shield. Eventually he succeeds and seduces Seth Rollins away from his brothers. And at Money in the Bank, the entire Wyatt cult turn out to help their new acolyte Seth win the Money in the Bank briefcase. The same show, Wyatt personally interferes in the main event ladder match for the vacant world title and helps John Cena win the belt. Cena didn't ask for his help, and Wyatt just smiles at him. So, Bray Wyatt, the virus, is growing and spreading, using a wrestler's innate lust for gold, money, a better spot, exploiting those selfish qualities to turn brother against brother and have wrestlers lose themselves in this ever-growing cult, this mad preacher extolling his gospel every single week. This all leads to SummerSlam. 1 year after the family converted their first member, and the show is themed around them, much like WWE versus The Nexus. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins and Luke Harper. And also on the card, Bray Wyatt versus Triple H.
You think you're safe, don't you? The king and his kingdom. You think just 'cause the drawbridge is up, that the walls will keep you safe, man? No. You already let me in. You let the devil in your backyard. The devil liked it. Now the devil has decided to stay. Run.
Like the Nexus coming in and collectively putting their dicks in WWE suit, the WWE family are now riding roughshod over the company, controlling most of the titles. Triple H cannot have that and steps up to Wyatt. One of them must be banished from the company. Bray Wyatt wins and essentially removes the authority from WWE for now, because that's all part of Bray's plan, to control the message, to bend Monday Night Raw to his will. Important, Brock Lesnar in the main event still absolutely crushes John Cena. Bray uses this loss to again try to bring Cena into the family, try and show him the love, how the family can help him finally secure his legacy. 16 world championships, John. Tie the record. Go down in history as undeniably one of the greatest of all time. Rematch between Cena and Brock at Night of Champions, this time with the Wyatt family pledging to be in Cena's corner whether he likes it or not, because they love him and care about him whether he likes it or not. During the match, the ref goes down and the Wyatts swarm Brock Lesnar, with the final Sister Abigail being delivered by Bray Wyatt. They offer the body of Lesnar to him and tells John, "Pin him, John. Pin him. Achieve your legacy." But Cena refuses. Not like this. This way, he'll be like everyone else in the family, indebted to Bray, a corrupted version of himself. This indecision gives Lesnar enough time to recover, destroy half the members of the family. It looks like Brock has Bray cornered, but Seth Rollins sacrifices himself, attacking Brock and eating an F5 instead, for Brock F5 Cena twice and retains his title. Furious at being spurned, Wyatt dedicates the family to the destruction of John Cena, and this is when things really start to fall apart. Wyatt becomes a man possessed. In reality, he has everything he wants. He has a platform for his sermons. His followers still hold most of the gold in the company, but no, it's about Cena, the one man who seemingly can't be corrupted. He becomes Bray's pastel t-shirt wearing white whale. Just imagining a whale wearing John Cena's armbands. Please Photoshop that, Rich. Ooh, I hate that. Wyatt goes to war, promises to make Cena's life a living hell until he relents, until he gives in, until he joins them. At Hell in a Cell, Cena versus Wyatt inside the cell. A match that, looking forward to the reaction here, I'm really looking forward to it. John Cena wins! Oh, sorry! When Seth Rollins breaks into the cell, maybe by diving through the roof, and accidentally blindsides Bray with the briefcase. Cena beats Wyatt. Also, on the Hell in a Cell card, the Usos failed to capture the tag titles, or worse, they already had them, and they lose them. Afterwards, Bray dedicates a segment on Raw to the punishment of the Usos, but especially Seth Rollins. He never deals with any violence himself. Instead, he says Seth's brothers are going to do that. All members of the Wyatt family line up to give Rollins a beating until Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose run in to help. Seth betrayed them, but he's in a cult. If no one else can get him out of it, maybe they can bring him back to who he used to be. Roman is able to get the Usos to come to their senses and renounce Bray, though it costs them a severe beatdown. They try to reach through to Seth. They offer him the fist bump, but he can't and won't listen, joining the attack on the Usos. At Survivor Series, the Wyatt family, Seth, Harper, Cassidy, Cesaro, and Bray versus Cena, Ambrose, Reigns, and the Usos. I know the hernia stuff happened with Roman, but it's an alternate timeline, so maybe that injury didn't happen. Just give me some slack. The Wyatt family come out on top, with Seth and Bray being the only two survivors. Wyatt refuses to relent in his obsession with Cena and keeps the war going, alternatively foisting all of his love on his new favorite child, Seth, whilst also punishing him the hardest. Whenever he steps out of line, Bray tells Seth Rollins the family needs him now more than ever. I need you, Seth. Sign over your Money in the Bank contract to me. Seth doesn't want to do it, but eventually he relents and gives Bray the briefcase, which Bray cashes in there and then for a shot at Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, Bray faces off against Brock. First time he's ever gone for a championship. First time he's ever sought the glory for himself over the members of his family. But it's all part of a plan. Other members of the family, Cesaro, Sheamus, they lose their titles. He has them punished, beaten by other members of the family, but rallies them round. Soon, my brothers, so soon. Soon. At the Royal Rumble, two things happen. Bray Wyatt uses the family to win the WWE Championship, basically by feeding them to Brock Lesnar until he eventually gets too worn out and finally Bray wins. Then there's the Rumble match. Bray assembles the family before the match. They have one goal, one mission. John Cena must win the Royal Rumble and face Bray at WrestleMania.
I got what you need, John. I finally got what you need. I got your legacy, John. I got your legacy in my hand. Take it from me, John. At WrestleMania, take it from my hands. Everything you ever wanted. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands.
But it doesn't happen. The family dominate the Rumble, with Bray sat in his rocking chair at ringside with the title over his shoulder so that John can see it. But the plan falls apart. At one point, Seth, Roman, and Dean find themselves all together in the ring. Roman and Dean look at Seth, see he's been brainwashed, and offer him the Shield fist bump, and Seth accepts. When Harper, Rowan, and Cassidy rush in, beat all three men down, the family throw out Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns as Seth watches, and that awakens something in him. He starts to realize everything he sacrificed for the Wyatt family, all for nothing, all in this fruitless quest to turn John Cena, and he starts trying to win the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins ousts Harper, Rowan, Cassidy. It finally comes down to Cena versus Rollins as the final two in the Royal Rumble. At ringside, Bray orders Seth to eliminate himself, but Seth refuses. Eliminating John Cena, Seth Rollins wins the 2015 Royal Rumble, which leads us to WrestleMania 31. Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins for the title. Bray forgets about Cena and tries to destroy Seth Rollins, expels him from the family, make his life a living hell. And this is when the family really crumbles. The treatment of Seth, one of their own, seeing Bray holding the title, everyone realizes they've been hoodwinked, with all family members leaving, apart from Harper, Rowan, and Cassidy, the core group. At WrestleMania itself, Seth wrestles Bray, and during the main event, there's a run-in from the rest of the Shield. In the fallout, even the core family walk out on Bray too, with Harper, Rowan, and Cassidy walking to the back. Seth beats Bray for the title in the main event, kicking off the year of Rollins, babyface WWE champion, while Bray loses everything and disappears back into the woods, alone, destroyed by his own ego, pride, and obsession. But perhaps in the woods, in those trees, Bray might find something in his desperation even more dangerous. And that is how I would book Bray Wyatt's first run in WWE. Did you hate it? Let me know. Then, after this, go and watch the Fiend booking video, and next month we'll cover the White Rabbit. Hooray! What else would you like me to cover? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to partsFUNknown for more silly wrestling content. And never forget to jam that jam. Run.